Okay, I think that we're live. Hopefully we're live. Yeah, so I have up here, right here, it's hard to point at things. Right here I have a little live counter for how many subscribers there are. So it'll be funny if that goes down. You know, there's always some trolls out there who are like, oh, now's the perfect time to unsubscribe. But it's going up right now, so you can see that it's actually working. I actually have that. Here, let me show you how I have this set up, because this is fun. Yes, I had a couple things that I thought I was going to do for this live stream, but I was like, you know what? I have stuff set up from that live stream we did a while back, and I might as well just go ahead and do this. And one of the computers is playing sound. I don't know where that's coming from. Hold on a second. Let me, I'll pop open the NDI camera so you can see what I'm seeing. Here we go. iPhone. That didn't work at all. Let's try this again. There we go. Okay. Here we go. Yeah. So one of these computers is making noise. Is it this one? Nope, not there. Oh, it's over here on my main computer. I must have left the stream up on here. Let me quit that. Nope, stop. Okay, there we go. There we go. And I should probably close out of here. Don't want to have sounds of Discord and all that kind of stuff. I'll just mute the computer. There we go. You can see I have the Uno Q over here. I'm just finishing up a video that I was going to post this week. Hopefully I'll have that finished. But I had to run some tests on the Pi 3B Plus because that's the closest thing to this that I have found in terms of SBCs. Very fun. Oh, but so from the last live stream, my camera was overheating. So this is my new setup. I have the Noctua USB fan blowing on the back with the screen open over here. And that way some air gets in here where this was getting very hot. So hopefully this camera doesn't die this stream. And I don't even know if you can see what I'm doing because I'm not looking at the preview, but I imagine that you can. Yeah, okay, I think you can. So that's good. But yeah. The keyboard, that's a Keychron, yes. But anyway, I thought it was also a fun timing because somebody on X or Blue Sky or Threads or Mastodon or one of the chat things said that my shirt is probably selling out again, and it actually has sold quite well in the past couple weeks after that AWS thing. It's funny, I was going to do a video on DNS because before YouTube I did a lot of infrastructure work, I did a lot of web work, back-end, front-end programming, all that kind of stuff. And you know, someone made the point that no, it's not always DNS, but there are so many times when you're building anything that has to do with the internet at all, or even internal services that aren't public-facing, but it uses networking. DNS is like the backbone of everything, and it usually works fine, but when it doesn't, like everything blows up, and usually it's not obvious where that problem is, but if you dig and dig and dig, you find DNS in there. And this, well, that's not the right screen. And this is the case again today. Microsoft said that their Azure and Microsoft 365 was down because of DNS. I don't know if it still is. Let's check down detector. So indicate problems. It looks like the problems are tailing off now. So it looks like things are recovering, but that's how it is with DNS a lot of times. Things explode and then they start coming back at some point. Thank you also for anybody who's donating. I still have that donation link up. Let's see. It's over, I think it's over here on desktop, like right up here. If you donate to the UOA, I have an ostomy, and you can find out more about that. I have a couple older videos going over that stuff, but I have an ostomy, and the UOA has been amazing to help me and other patients who have ostomies. There are like 1 million of us in the US, I think, and you probably wouldn't notice for most people, but for some people, you know, they might tell you about it, but you might know somebody that has one, and they might have had struggles and things. The UOA is an organization that helps people with those, so go ahead and donate to them. And on that theme too, one of the things I wanted to talk about in this live stream, because you know, when I started this YouTube channel, it was 2006. That I didn't really plan on posting many videos, but I posted random videos here or there. I think the first video that's still up on the channel is something that we did in college for one of our classes on mythology, Greek mythology, Theseus and the Minotaur. But anyway, when I started the channel, it was just for fun, and that's what that's what most of the internet was back then. People sharing things. Web 2.0 was kind of the when the floodgates opened there. But I never thought I would get to a point where YouTube would be like a thing that made money for me. And in some ways, you could argue whether that's a good thing or a bad thing for society in general. But anyway, it is cool to be able to work on YouTube stuff full-time, because now I can devote a lot of time to open source work, a lot of time to contributing back that I couldn't before, when I had to justify it to a boss who was like, well, that's not really contributing to finishing this project. So now I can like spend the extra 2 or 3 days to wrap something up, or to document something, or submit a PR, or write up a new project and put it on GitHub. I love doing that stuff. And on that theme, like in my whole career, open source has been the big thing that kind of brought me into programming and into all the different communities I'm part of now. So a few projects that really, that I think I was the most involved in, that I got the most out of, and that I try to put the most back into. Drupal, which is, a lot of people here probably have never heard of Drupal. Drupal runs a lot of the web. It used to be a lot more for like NGOs and nonprofits and education and government, that kind of stuff. It still is in some sense, but it's grown a little more enterprisey. So I still run my blog on it, but the community was amazing. And there was a saying back then, come for the code, stay for the community. And that's what it has been a lot of times in open source. Sometimes there's drama and crazy things in all these different open source worlds, but it doesn't have to be that way. And I try to make it drama-free and fun and interesting and sharing and trying to help people, bring people up and you get free code, but you also get free life advice and help and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, Drupal is awesome. Ansible is another community that I've been part of for years and years. Ansible's changed a lot. You know, Red Hat bought Ansible, and then IBM bought Red Hat, and now IBM and Red Hat are kind of an interesting thing, but Ansible community is still pretty cool. It has a lot of great people in it, and has helped me to automate so much, and helped other people automate things. And also, Kubernetes was a big thing. I think the two big things on this channel that went from like, this is just my little tinkering channel, to this is something that was kind of big and interesting and could make money someday, was my Ansible 101 and Kubernetes 101 live stream. So anyway, thanks for those communities. There's tons of other open source projects, especially in like PHP and in Python and in other open source languages and libraries and things that have helped me tremendously through the years. And I was just reminded of that, you know, I have this project that I've been working on, and this is part of it, which I keep looking at the wrong screen here. This is part of it, and you can think about what could this be? What could we be doing here? But I wound up writing a script that used FFmpeg to change some video into some frames and do some other stuff. I used like 12 different things on it, and it's the first time that I tried actually using a little vibe coding or whatever, because I needed to do some quick stuff with a microcontroller that I wasn't familiar with, getting the frames from something converted into. I'm not going to tell you too much about it because it'll be a surprise. It'll be a fun surprise coming up. But yes, it's like a Blinky that did some fun stuff. The Argon ONE UP Laptop. Am I excited about that? I am very excited about that. Sorry for the little squirrel moment here, but I did order one. This is the one that they sent me for testing, and I made a very, very brief video on it, but this is the Argon ONE UP, and I'm not going to do a full video or review until I get my full unit, but it's interesting. It's not, I think the biggest problem that I have with it, which this is a pre-production version, was the trackpad, how that worked. So I'm going to see what happens with the final production units, if they solve that issue or not. But it is interesting. And speaking of interesting laptops, and we'll get back to whatever I was talking to, maybe. This is also, you might have noticed, I have this here. This is because this is what I've been working on for a video for a few weeks now. This is technically a framework, but it is a DC Roma. This is a RISC-V laptop, which I think compares interestingly against that Argon ONE UP for many reasons, which I'll get into. But one thing that I'm about to do on this is pull out the main board. This is one of the cool things I like about this idea is, instead of having like a custom laptop with a Raspberry Pi, this is a a framework laptop that you can pull the mainboard out and put a new one in, completely swap it out. And so, you know, once this DC Roma RISC-V processor, which is already pretty slow, once it's obsolete, you can pull it out and put in a new thing and have a brand new laptop. So that's cool. You can see I have my Mac over here. This one is not upgradable at all, but with the M series processors, that's not too bad. And Pierluigi's here, yeah. Another thing that's awesome is, besides like content creators on YouTube, besides the open source projects, on this channel in particular, one of my goals is to try to find cool projects in the community that I think either have a lot of potential or just are inspirational. And I try to build those up. And Pierluigi had the Minima boards, I think, which was cool because I talked about those boards in a video. And then later on, I was able to kind of put together the build a CubeSat with the Minima boards. And I've seen that happen time and time again. So again, that open source mentality is like, I get something out of this, but I also put things back into it. And that's what makes the community better. So anyway, I hope that for another 10, 20 years, we can keep that going through this channel. Yes, the framework, I haven't actually used like a x86 processor in a framework, but the hardware itself is kind of cool. It's different than something like a MacBook, but I could imagine using this as a laptop for Linux if I wanted to, with whatever main board that they have. 6 hours, and yeah, I think a couple people noticed this guy here. Before the stream started, so if you look at the thumbnail for this, this guy had dashes here, or it had nothing there because this is, what is the clock called? The Mozilla Precision Clock Mark IV. I think I have a short video about this. I was going to do some more stuff with this, but this doesn't look like it's changing, but that's actually updating. This is updating with an analog circuit instead of digital PWM, so that these digits are updating by, this is tenths of a second, hundredths of a second, and thousandths or milliseconds. So that is actually updating. And when these are updating, that means it has a GPS lock. So it's getting its time from GPS satellites, which is very cool. And yeah, a lot more timing stuff coming up on the channel. I've gone so far down that rabbit hole and have not come back up yet to actually make a video, and I should. Don't unsubscribe and subscribe, then YouTube's going to get too confused. Where are we? Have we gone up? I haven't even checked how the subscriber count's going. Oh no, wait, 59. Okay, we're going up. That's cool. Yeah, 5 seconds delayed. Oh, interesting. So I guess I never thought about that, but you could actually see the actual delay on your stream looking at this guy, because this is about as precise as you can get without going into more specialized hardware, having specialized antennas, or having multiple clocks and comparing them. A very cool clock project. And actually, this is in a 3D printed case, but if I take that off, you can fold it out and it becomes an ISO timestamp, which is a fun little trick. But yeah, so back to the open source stuff too. It's so cool to be able to see the people that see things on the channel and then build on that. And you know, for me, I'm trying to learn how to do some PCB design work, and I learned from so many people that share their stuff on their blogs and on YouTube and all that. And really, on a high level, some people ask me like, what do you watch when you're doing your own like watching YouTube? And some of them I've watched for years and years, well before I went into the modern era of Jeff Geerling YouTube in 2000. It was 2019, 2020 was when I kind of transitioned into actually taking YouTube seriously. But one of them was Engineer Guy. I don't know if you've seen any of his videos, but it's funny, like sometimes when I'm writing a script or when I'm saying phrases, I think of somebody's voice in my head when I'm saying it, and sometimes I think of Engineer Guy. And I think that Engineer Guy and Technology Connections are both two YouTube creators who have a great ability to take something that you might not think about too much, but give you the information about it that makes you understand like this is actually a really cool thing. And here's why it's cool, here's how it's cool, and here's how it's made. And they do it in a way that you can actually understand it in the end. Anyway, I've loved his videos. It's funny, like he hasn't had a video, and he had a video like last year or something, but you can go back and watch the back catalog if you've never seen it before. Another one is Stuff Made Here, which is, he's newer. Shane he's newer on YouTube, but his videos, every time that he posts something, him and probably DIY Perks, I'm like, there's no way that like one person could make the thing that he just showed being made in like 1 month or 3 weeks or 2 weeks or whatever. It's just crazy. But it's always good to know, it's good to be humble. Like, I'm like, I can 3D print something, I can design something like this, and then meanwhile there's other people that are making things that, I don't know. I don't even know how you could do that as an individual, some of those projects, but they do them, and they do a great job of it. And they can, like the other ones, they convey it well. And that's, I think, one of the things that I enjoy about some of the channels that I am inspired by. Samson Boat Company. And note that down in the description, I have links to all of these channels too. So if you're wondering where they are. Samson Boat Company, I watch every single video that comes out on there. I have for 5 years, 6 years. I don't know how long he's been doing this project, but he bought a boat that anyone in their right mind, it's kind of like the vintage computer community. They'll buy something for $5, e-waste or whatever, and it's like there's no way you could ever get that thing going. And for his boat, he bought this boat, which has an interesting history behind it, but he basically rebuilt the thing from board, like every single board inside of it, every single part, and he still used some original wood from it. He used some original metal parts. It's just a fascinating look into the way the boat is designed and how boats have evolved over the years, but also how you know, with persistence and with some funding from your Patreon community, you can do some pretty amazing things. And now he's sailing the boat. But anyway, if you haven't seen it, go back and watch that whole history. If you are, I'm not even interested in boats, but for some reason I loved that whole series that he did. I already mentioned Technology Connections. Look Mum No Computer, another one of those guys who it's like, how can he do all of these crazy things? If you look on Look Mum No Computer, that channel has everything from like car restoration to you know, EDM type music to synthesizers. I guess it's Look Mum No Computer, so a lot of analog stuff, electronic circuit design. And his style is interesting. I don't know. I mean, if I ever get back over to London and can go out and visit the place, he has a place called, This Is Not a Museum, I think it's called. Anyway, if I can get over there, I would love to do that because a lot of fascinating things there. Action Retro, another person who sometimes when I'm writing, I'm like, I just wrote in the style of Action Retro, and you might see that sometimes in some of my videos. The phrase that I love the most is like totally normal computing. He does a lot of things like I do with the Pi, is like, you're not supposed to do this and it's not supposed to work, but you make it work and you learn something along the way. Or you don't learn something, you just have a fun time, but I love watching his videos. Another one that's off the beaten path a little bit is Bama Bass. He built a pond on his property and took us through like the whole journey of how that works. Now it's a lot of the videos are about wildlife and about that kind of stuff, so it's just interesting to see that perspective. And also somebody who fishes, like I fished a couple times as a kid, and I think I caught a fish or two, but I'm not a fisher guy, fisherman, fisher person or whatever. I don't fish, but I like that channel and I enjoy it. He always posts on like a Sunday night, so it's fun to kind of have that be a little relaxing thing to watch at the end of the week, or at the beginning of the week, I guess. Great Scott. I'm sure many people that are subscribed here have seen Great Scott. Yeah, how can I be a Midwestern and not fish? I mean, I know a lot of people that fish a lot, but I just don't. I don't hunt either. It's just, I don't know. I haven't done that much. But Great Scott, have learned so much about electronics from him and his way of breaking things down. And I love, like, a few of the things, like, one thing that I don't think I'm very good at and I want to get better at is illustrating an idea with either graphics or text or some sort of way of showing it on paper or something. And Great Scott has done a great job of, he'll write a circuit out and he'll show you things on paper, or he'll write kind of the relationship between things. And it's very visual and interesting. It works in my brain very well. I have an honorary mention here too of Nova Spirit Tech who died this past year. And it was sad for me to see that, like that, you know, I've heard of people who were on YouTube or whatever who passed away before, but it was hard to see, and I had only communicated with him like 5 or 6 times ever, but it was always great interaction, and he's one of the people who, again, this built up community and tried to make the world a better place, and was very good and helpful in his videos, and you could see that his passion for technology would come through in those. And he passed away far too early, I think. But anyway, I wanted to give him a mention because that's, death is something that you always have to consider in life. And, what are we doing this for? Are we doing it for future generations, or for fame and glory, or for money? Like, what is the purpose of being here? And I think that he had a good life helping, his kid and his wife and the people in his community to better their lives. So yeah, that's a sad one, but I wanted to make sure that I included him on the list because that was impactful for me. He was also one of the reasons why I got into doing Raspberry Pi stuff on YouTube. I'm not a Raspberry Pi guy. They're great for illustrating a lot of things that I'm interested in. The reason I got into Raspberry Pi clustering was I was working on clusters for Drupal and clusters for early like LAMP stack scaling. And I found that using a Raspberry Pi helped me find a lot of issues that were buried when you ran it on super high-end fast hardware, or you ran it in the cloud and you couldn't see the networking connections. So anyway, I saw his cluster video where I think he had like 4 of them with a water loop or something, and that really put me onto his channel and put me onto the idea of like maybe I could do these kind of weird projects and put them up on YouTube instead of just blogging about them. So anyway, yeah, I see there's tons of other great channels being mentioned in here too, and I watch like Big Clive, and I think I'm subscribed to like 2,000 or 3,000, maybe not that many, but I'm subscribed to a lot of channels, and a lot of them it's like I see one interesting video and I hit subscribe. So I treat my subscription feed, that's like the only way I use YouTube, and I just treat that as like Twitter or Blue Sky or whatever. It's always there, and I pick a video or two every now and then to pop into my watch later list, and I'll watch it at some point. But these channels that I'm mentioning now are the ones that I watch pretty much every video. And another one is Pecos Hank, which I love meteorology. And I think if I didn't do YouTube and I didn't do tech and it paid better, I would have been a meteorologist. I just love the weather. I love observing it. I love the science and the research behind it, and the technology. I actually have had on my list of videos going and seeing a weather radar at some point, and talking with the NWS, but it's just never worked out. I got close a couple years ago, but it never worked out because the best time to do it is when they're down for maintenance, and they only go down for maintenance here and there. And they also don't want to, I guess they don't want to like do that all the time, because people actually rely on radars for health and safety. Anyway, Pecos Hank has an awesome channel, and he distills the art of chasing tornadoes and the structure of storms, lightning, clouds, wind, all that kind of stuff really well. And I think he actually wrote a book too. I have not purchased it, but I might at some point. But anyway, he has an awesome channel. Yes. It's 15:23 now, but yeah, we don't use the PM. Connections Museum. Yeah, there's so many. Yeah, there are some cities where the radars go down quite a lot. St. Louis has been pretty good. We have KSTL, I think, is our airport one, or that might be the main one. But anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent. The last content creator who's inspired me, and I think I want to mention, is Factory Monster. It's an interesting channel. I don't know how many people, you can raise your hand, have watched How It's Made and were inspired by that show as a kid. Factory Monster for me is that it tickles that same itch. It's kind of on the same theme of, I don't know, it feels in the same theme as that. Sometimes Strange Parts has interesting factory tours too, but the cool thing about Factory Monster is it kind of brings you into a factory and guides you through it, and there's no dialogue, which is crazy. It's kind of like the WALL-E of factory tours. So anyway, those are all linked in the description. And yeah, we're getting to 150 or so. We'll see. Yeah. Well, so this is, Frederick says it's bad timing since the world has no internet. Well, anybody that's not on Microsoft is here, so go ahead and subscribe, Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and thank you to everybody. I mean, the other thing is thank you so much to everybody who's subscribed. Obviously, we wouldn't get to 1 million subscribers without 1 million people, or 999,855 clicking subscribe. So thank you for that. It's funny, subscriptions on YouTube don't mean the same thing that they did 5 or 10 years ago when I started with this. Back then it was like you want to get as many people to hit subscribe because I think that was a bigger flag in the YouTube algorithm for recommendations. and it was used a lot more if, like, I take sponsorships very sparingly because there's many reasons for that. You can look on GitHub. I have a YouTube repository that talks about my philosophy with sponsorships and reviews and that kind of thing. And in the past, though, sponsorships were tied to like how many subscribers you had and maybe views, but it was more sponsorship, more subscriber based. But nowadays, subscribers means almost nothing. So, but to me, it means a lot because it means somebody liked something enough that they thought, I want to see something more from this person at some point, which is crazy to me. Like, I don't know. I guess I don't know what I do that people click that button for me for, because I feel like there's a lot of other people that do things better than I do. But thank you. You know, but that doesn't mean unsubscribe right now. You can do that after we hit 1 million. Yeah. Another little list I have here, and if you're in the description, you can see that I have this on here too. There are some other content creators who more or less directly have helped me pass on the journey. And there's actually a lot that I won't list here because, like, I have the entire Homelab community. We talk with each other quite a bit, and we help each other with issues. If we're having issues with equipment, or if we're having issues with like there's something in the comments that's like bothering you or whatever, a lot of us will talk and try to help each other out, which is amazing. And so there's too many to list. I think I have a list of a few in the description. But if you've seen a Homelab video from somebody, odds are that I've at least said hello to them in email or Twitter DMs or whatever at some point in the past. And it's just a great community that we have. I'm glad that it's not so drama filled like some crazy communities are. But also, individually, there's Serve the Home. Patrick from Serve the Home has been helpful. We've talked quite a bit. We've collabed in the past a couple times on videos. And on that same thread, Wendell from Level 1 Techs, who's everybody says he's like the tech support on YouTube. I've actually talked to him 3 or 4 times for videos that never ended up getting made. But I still have all the footage because those are videos that might get made. But then it's like, if it's 2 years later, do I like call him again? Because I can't use like 2-year-old footage or whatever. So I don't know, but he's always willing to help, and he's always active in his forums too. Like anybody that posts in the forums about something he's interested in, he'll help, and I love that service that they have. I've often recommended people, if they email me directly, which I don't unfortunately have time to respond to everybody. Sometimes I will say, have you posted in the Level 1 Techs forums, because they have a lot of great stuff on home labbing and on old servers and on new servers and all kinds of stuff. Similarly to the Homelab community, though, the vintage Mac community is just, I went to my first Vintage Computer Festival in the Midwest, and I knew the video was going to do terribly. It's like a 10 of 10, worst video I've done in like 3 or 4 years. I knew it would do that, but it was such an awesome experience to meet some of the people that I've talked to online and talk to them and be a little bit more integrated into that community, and because they do important things, in my opinion. They show us that old tech, not only the way that it worked and how it can be restored and all that, but they show us what it was like. And one of the things that I hate about the modern tech world is everything is becoming a subscription, everything is becoming a rental, everything is it's not yours anymore. Back in the old days, you'd buy a computer, you'd bring it home, and it would be there. My wife said, "Can you pick up some bananas on the way home?" Yes, I will definitely do that. But it's so disappointing, and that's one reason I think I'm getting into older computers. Besides the fact that I am, I guess, is it a midlife crisis or whatever? Instead of buying like sports cars, I now have a collection of old computers. But yeah, that was cool, and the people in that community are amazing. Also, from explainingcomputers.com, Christopher. He's great. I've talked to him in the past in a couple videos, and I've emailed him back and forth with him a few times. And he's another one of those, like, his channel is never going to be like a viral sensation type channel, but he has been so consistent for years and years. That's one thing that, like, some people say, don't worry about posting every week or whatever, which I missed last week, which is kind of funny. But that's partly because of that project I showed a little bit earlier, which will be fun. That'll be on Geerling Engineering, by the way, so subscribe there too. Yes, Geerling Engineering, my goal is to have a video every month or two, Penguin Overlord. So yeah, yes, and I am at my studio. Yeah, but anyway, explaining computers, he's just been so consistent and so, I don't know, in the midst of all the screaming and yelling and crazy intros and stuff, it's been fun to see him continue just nailing all these different topics. And he, like me, he's interested in a lot of different things. And he gets to share a lot of those little projects that he works on through his weekly videos, and sometimes more than one a week. So, and finally, Destin from Smarter Every Day, who I met this year. I don't know if I met him last year or this year at Open Source. I think it's this year at Open Source. We had a chance meeting at the Eclipse. Was that this year? I think it was this year. It might have been. This year's been a long year. It's been a quick year and a long year in both ways. Yes, Stanley the knife and the scissors. I forget what the scissors is called on explaining computers. But Destin and I have talked a little bit. We met at that thing, and we got to talk about some of the science of observing things in space, some of the photography stuff. I still have my first film camera, the Minolta X700, and he tries to get me to do more film photography, and it's like, yeah, it's such a bother though. I know why digital won out. It's not only because you get more dynamic range nowadays, but back in the day, it's like the process of taking the pictures and developing them and all that stuff is not as fun. But it is interesting, and I still shoot a roll probably every 3 or 4 months. Because it's nice, it's interesting. It's similar to retro computing. It changes your brain a little bit. Like when you're taking a picture that's going to a physical piece of film, and then you're developing that film, you think more about the picture. It's an intentional picture. It's not just, Daddy, can you take a picture of me? Yes, I'll take like 7 pictures, and then now they'll be in my phone, and in 20 years they'll be in the group of another million pictures that we took in the past year. It's totally a different thing. 100 left. Yes. So once we get to 1 million, by the way, I bought this, and I have no idea if this is going to be a good idea or a horrible idea. I have drop ceiling here, and I don't think this is like high velocity explosives. It said that it was air or something like that, compressed air. So I don't think that we're going to have a problem, but that could be fun either way. And I'm not going to change my shirt to a red shirt for that part. I think good strategy is to be the 1 million sub. The problem is I'm sure that there's a few people that are waiting, and then all of them will click it and so you won't know. But yeah, I could also, it was DNS. It seems like this shirt is doing a lot more bad in the world right now than red shirt, Jeff. But yes, red shirt Jeff will be returning here and there. The trouble is that he has been in the studio. It's not the same as being in my basement, so you have to be a little more careful with what red shirt Jeff does. Yeah, so that's that. Let's see. The other thing is I have a few videos that, like, I know that these videos probably won't get a lot of views, but I try to mix in, like, I know I have to play to the algorithm a little bit, so I try to do some videos that I know will do well and keep my channel not angry with YouTube or whatever. But I try to mix in some videos that either I don't know if they'll do anything well, or I know they're not going to do well, but it's something that I've wanted to work on and turn into a video. And turning it into a video makes it easier to justify working on it too. One of them is building a GPS clock like this with a Raspberry Pi Pico. This one is using custom code on an STM32. But I have the parts for it, I just haven't done it. Another one is a video about all the things you don't know about time and GPS. And another one is maybe setting up NetBoot or PXE boot on the CM5 blade cluster, which is somewhere over there. Oh yeah, it's down here. But let me know. Yeah. Here's that guy, the CM5 blade switches. It sticks out the back quite a bit. But I have this set up still because I want to do that at some point. But of those 3 video ideas, I'm not even looking right now, so if you're posting a comment about it, I don't know which one you're selecting, but which one are you thinking? PXW. What is PXW? Steam cache drive on a Pi. That's actually something I have thought about doing, mostly because with the Steam cache. Like every time that I set up a new Pi or one of the Ampere workstations and I do some testing with Steam, it's like, okay, I will download a game for the next 6 hours, 8 hours. It's like, holy cow. Back when I was a kid, you didn't have to download games like that. You just buy a CD. Looks like a lot of people are talking, oh, PXE boot, okay. Yes. So yeah, it seems, I've had a lot of people ask about that, and the GPS clock is going to be fun. Buy a cake when you're at the store. Oh, did you see that on here? Was that something else to do too? I don't know what my wife mentioned on here. She said pie pumpkin, not a pumpkin pie. So apparently there's, yeah, I remember there's like a little pumpkin for pumpkin pies. So that and some bananas. And how are we doing on the subscribers? 73 more, it looks like. Oh, 70 more. Wait, why am I seeing a more delayed thing on the stream? So I'm seeing 15, 35, 16. Wow, so this is weird. Let me show you what I'm seeing, because this is kind of crazy. So I should definitely not be looking at this camera or this screen here, because it's way off. Let me go into here and I'll pop open my OBS NDI stream thing here. iPhone, there we go. So look at this. This is saying, I don't know how this is going to work on the stream, but 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 2, 3, 4, 5. And look at that. That's like way off. That's like 25 seconds off. So don't look here at all. I don't know why this stream is so far off. So you guys are actually seeing ahead of what I'm seeing on here. So what I really should do is look at my preview over here. And there's, 1,800 people watching. Hello, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming to celebrate. Oh gosh, sorry about that. I just put you in vertical mode. Yeah, there's my notes. So we've gotten through that stuff. We can put this away. And I should probably take a drink of water too. Which, water or Diet Coke? I don't know which one. I should get one of these companies to sponsor me, and then I could get free soda for life. Ugh. I should probably switch cameras so I can set that on my phone too. There we go. How's the petabyte Pi holding up? So the funny story about that, and ProtoWeb is here too. Hey, ProtoWeb. Yeah, I found out about ProtoWeb at VCF Midwest too. That was a great experience. I got to hold a boxed copy of Netscape Navigator 2.0. But in terms of the petabyte Pi, I was going to redo it with Ceph and 4 Raspberry Pi 5s. I have not gotten around to that yet. I was close to getting it done a few months ago and then had to go back on it again. The problem is that every time I start working on that, you have a server that's this big, takes up this entire desk or more than one of my other workbench. So you get everything out and then you're dedicated to it. And then if you have any problems that are going to take like a part in the mail, now you're waiting another week or 2 weeks, or if it's something weird, sometimes 3 or 4 weeks. And then it's like, now that workbench is that now. So I've had to put that on pause again. And every time I do it, there's another thing like that. So we'll get there. I think that we'll get another petabyte version, but this one will be like an actual, like this could actually kind of work if you like squint at it sideways. The old one, it barely limped along. And the NASA is still on the Ampere, yes. Someone asked about that. A Starlink base station. I don't have Starlink anymore for over a year, 2 years now. I've thought about it for backup internet here. Hey, Kevin, how you doing? Everybody should go, so something fun. Everybody, Kevin McAleer over in chat, if somebody wants to post a link to one of his videos, go watch one of his videos really quick. Let's get him a few hundred extra views on one of those. Just open it in a second tab or something. But I'm kind of surprised at the rate that it was going this morning. It wasn't going to hit 1 million until like midnight tonight. So I started the stream thinking like maybe I could get a few people to subscribe. Maybe, we'll see. A petabyte with NVMe. You know how expensive that is? Whew, you have to have a sponsor for that. Yeah, I don't need a petabyte of storage. That's the thing. I was like, I don't know why 45 Drive sponsored me, but it was so awesome to work with them, and I have a good relationship now with them. And but they were like, yeah, we want to help you make this happen. And I'm like, what do you want me to do with all the drives? So I actually, I have a few drives out on loan to a couple other creators to help them. But I saved most of them in boxes right now. I don't want to run them because it's like 700 watts just to have them spinning. So I have it all sitting there ready for the next version of the Petabyte Pi server. It's just, like I said, I have not gotten to that. And they have the new Beast version too, which of the HL15 that I think would probably make more sense for me for what I do with my NAS. But yeah, so we're getting close to 1 million. One other thing I was going to do was work on upgrading this. I actually have Framework and DC Roma or Deep Computing have been working with me on this video for months now. It's been in the works, and we're finally almost there. I'll hopefully have this video up in a week or two, probably 2 or 3 weeks, or who knows. I shouldn't make promises because sometimes I'm like, yeah, I'm working on that this week, and it's like 2 months later, finally get it out. But yeah, I guess, yeah, what, 1542 you're saying on here? 41, I don't know, we'll see. We got 20 more left. The frigate video, yes, why am I not on Unify? There was a good thread on X or Twitter about that. There's no particular reason other than everyone that I know that gets onto Unify ends up spending $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. Or you buy one thing, you have to buy 5 or 6. I don't know what it is. There's something about Unify, and I'm just avoiding that as long as I can. But I know I'm going to succumb to one of their devices at some point. Upstream DNS. Right now I use name.com. I do not like name.com. I did a long time ago. I would sing if my throat was feeling better, but no, I'm not going to sing. What is your favorite number? Well, 1 million today, of course. Petabyte on IDE. Yeah, I saw Action Retro actually posted a picture of a bunch of zip drives in stacks. That would be fun to do, a petabyte of zip drives. You'd have to have like every existing zip drive that still works to do that. This is not low latency. I think this is medium latency or something. But we're getting close, so I should probably prepare one of these. This will be interesting. This is going to be messy, probably, or it'll be a dud. That'd be really fun. I actually bought 2 because I think last year or 2 years ago we bought a few of these and one of them just didn't go. So I figured that the chances are pretty good that we'd get at least, oh, 1 million. There we go. Okay, let's try this out. Okay, I'll shoot it over at the sign there. And I'm hoping that nothing over here is in the destruction zone, but let's see. Woo! Okay. That was more than I expected, and it's going to take a lot of cleanup. I'll show you. Might as well do both because we're here, and my ears are also hurting a little bit, so let's see. Okay. Well, thank you for everybody who's subscribed, and the 77 people that just subscribed at the end of the stream. Let me show you the carnage here, and I think that at home my daughter actually exploded one of these things one time, and we had to clean it up for I don't know how long. We still find bits of confetti around. But here we go. So here's the carnage. It's, you know, I probably should actually remove those from the network switch because this does get pretty hot. I don't want to have, a fire. That would be a not good thing to have happen today. 1 million subscribers and the studio burns down. So yeah, that's the hot zone there. And oh, that's funny. These are all still together, so not the highest quality. But yeah, thank you. And you are the 999,991th subscriber. Is that how you say it? 991th? Yes. So awesome. Yes. So I don't even know how I'm going to clean this up. I'm still. That was an idea that I had that was probably not the best thought out idea, but it's not the worst thing in the world, I guess. It's kind of fun. And I didn't have any plans for what to do after that, so that's what's the orange 3D print? This is part of this project. I found this is a modified version of Framework's actual like mainboard 3D printable case. So I didn't want to didn't want to wait for the one, I think there's Cooler Master, somebody makes one, so I 3D printed this. This is ASA. I printed it on the bamboo, which I found out that if you print ASA on a bamboo with the plate, I forget what build plate or print plate that was, but the little paint marks on it come off for ASA temperatures. I think it's like 100 degrees bed temperature. So tip, don't use beds with paint on them because it'll come off at this temperature, but not at the 60-degree temperatures. The UOAA, so no, I don't think I'll ever have 1 billion subscribers. But the UOA, which is up here, no, it's up here on desktop, and on mobile it's probably down here. If you would like to donate to them, they have helped me with my, I had Crohn's disease, which led to me getting an ostomy. And they help people who have ostomies or continent diversions, or there's probably somebody in your life that you know that has one of these or had one. And in the US, the UOA helps so much with those patients. So if you find it in your heart to generously donate to them, that would be awesome. Am I still using the Framework PC cluster? It's part of it is right here. I've been doing a little bit of experimenting. This guy is here. It's I've been tinkering with PCIe and looking at the progress with Lemonade and the NPU support, because that should help a bit. But in Linux, it has not been as nice as in Windows, unfortunately, yet. Oh yeah, I saw that Joseph Prusa got a medal from the Czech president. I think that was today or yesterday or something. So that was interesting. Yeah, I guess that's it's good to have companies in your country that are building things like that. Yeah. So we're close to 2 million. No, we're not close to 2 million. It's funny, like I never thought like I want to have 1 million subscribers or whatever. I never thought I have the 100,000 subscriber plaque too. Like when I started this channel, it was just I want to share things, and I still want to do that today. And I don't want 2 million. I just want to have a community of people who learn things from each other, build things that make the world a better place, that help them. Like one of the best things would be if people watching this channel can learn how to have skills to support themselves and to make things better for their community. That would be like the ultimate goal. And I hope that I've helped some of you with that. And I'm sure that I've helped a few people with it, but you know, it's, on the flip side, I get so many comments, and I read as many comments as I can, but it's kind of like a stream sometimes now. So I don't get to read everything, but I try to read everything, and I've gotten a lot of ideas for videos and projects, and I've gotten a lot of contacts from people who see a video and they say, have you ever talked to this person about this or whatever? But anyway, yeah, the problem with live streams, JC, is that in college I took a test of like, I forget what the test was called, but it's like public speaking, how comfortable you are. And my comfort level was like through the roof in the wrong way. So that one of my goals was to be able to do anything public speech wise, and I got to that point. But live streams are still that way for me. I get a little bit sweaty, get a little bit nervous, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so live streams. Well, just me has to go to bed, and it's 3:50 here, or very precisely, it's 15:48:36 here. And so I actually do need to wrap up for the day, because tomorrow I am going to the Enterprise Center here in St. Louis and doing a pretty cool shoot with the St. Louis Blues. We're going to, which I have here, which is upside down. Sorry about that if you're a Blues fan. It's not because I don't like it, it's because I stick these in random places, and I think that one was one where I had it on the ground at some point. But anyway, I'm going to go there, and we're going to look inside of a broadcast truck with my dad. So that'll be fun. And yes, I do enjoy making the YouTube videos. I don't think I could make over 500 of them if I didn't enjoy that. 3D printed 10-inch racks are awesome, and I haven't done one yet, surprisingly. I mean, the thing is, I have DeskPi, when they're building their new versions, they actually send me one, like a pre-production unit, and I help them out. I build it, and I tell them, like, here's the good things, here's a couple things I didn't like about it. And so I have like 8 of those pre-production versions, which all of them have like little quirks, but they're not bad quirks. It's just like the instruction guide was missing a step or whatever. So now I have like 8 of those, and it's like, I don't need one, but it is cool to print those. But, oh, cool. So if you refresh my page, I guess it shows 1 million or 1M. The sad thing is now I won't see, if you go to my page, it'll say like 1 million or 1.01 or something. So now it's like incrementing in 10,000s. And you know what? I didn't even have a thing recording. I have the stream recording, but I didn't have, this is, nope, that's not the right one. That's not the right one. There it is. I didn't have anything recording that alone. That's actually running on a Raspberry Pi. And for the main thing, I have, like when you look up here, right there, that's actually clipped off of this feed from the Raspberry Pi. And I was meaning to set up screen recording through the Pi. I just didn't. So now I have the stream at least. I have that part. But yeah, so thank you for watching today, and I will see you next time. Until next time, I'm Jeff Geerling, which now I need to find out where's a button to stop this thing. Oh, here we go. Until next time, I'm Jeff Geerling. Okay, well, until next time, I'm Jeff Geerling. Let's try this again.